miss anything? No? Okay. All right. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ashlee Hoffberger. She is going to speak tonight. She is a county commissioner candidate for District 4 that was vacated by Robert Bender, who is now the supervisor of elections. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I think, do I need to give you this? I think.
It's strange that both of them running for District 4 have a German last name.
Isn't it? Yes. Yes. So my husband was stationed in Germany for a short period of time when he was in the Army, and he has all types of stories. But my name is Ashlee Hoffberger, and I am running for Escambia County Commissioner for District 4. I come from small business ownership. I graduated from UWF. I've called Pensacola home pretty much my entire life. I grew up in Pace, and when my parents divorced and I was in high school, I moved over to Pensacola with my mom. And went to UWF, graduated in 2010, and right out of college started a restoration company. So restoration is water, fire, mold, cleanup, and full reconstruction. When we started, there were 6 of us, so I wore a lot of hats. And that was in 2012 when we started, and then when we were acquired, that was 2021. We had 73 team members for 3 locations, and it was quite an experience, and I really enjoyed every bit of that, and I got to learn a lot, not only about myself, but about my team, and rallying a team around a vision and moving forward together. So after we were acquired, I had a 2-year contract to stay, which I did, and then I moved on to my next business, which is high-end laundromats. So I own the washroom. We have 3 locations. 2 of those are here in Pensacola, and I love owning a small business. I feel like it is the backbone of not only our community, but also our economy. And I think everyone deserves a place where they can go and they can work and have someone invest in them, and they can grow their career and their skill sets. And I love being that place. So professionally, that's a little bit about me. When it comes to county commissioner, everyone says, well, why are you running for this? And all I can say is life experiences. So back in November, my little girl, who is 2.5, she had a seizure. And I walked into the house, and I had worked late, and I came home, and my husband said, hey, is that you? Who else would it be? And he said, well, I just called the ambulance. And I walked in, and thank God Layla was breathing, but she was incoherent. She had no idea what was going on. She was just completely out of it. And we live in the city, so the fire department was there super quick. They took her vitals. She was stable. They put her on oxygen. And my husband, he's a veteran, and he was so calm. And he had dispatch on the phone. And at that point, I said, she's stable, and we're less than 10 minutes from Sacred Heart. How far out is the ambulance? And it was complete silence. And I said, we are less than 10 minutes from Sacred Heart, because I'm panicking at this point. How far out is the ambulance? And she said, well, they're on their way. And they couldn't give me an ETA, so my husband and I can make an educated decision about my daughter's health care. And I don't think that's something that parents should have to deal with. When I started digging into it, people in our community are waiting way too long for ambulances to arrive. Digging into it even more, at nighttime, we only have 5 ambulances on the road. So that's all the way from Walnut Hill, out to Perdido Key, out to Pensacola Beach. And there's not even one stationed on Pensacola Beach. So God forbid something happens on the bridge and they can't get back over. On top of that, our EMS is severely understaffed, and the company culture is terrible. I have an HR certification. I love HR. I love company culture. And they've lost 100 people out of a 127-person department in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. No business could live off of that just because of the recruiting costs and the training costs and continuously having that turnover. But as taxpayers, we're paying for that. And then as a community, we're not getting the service that we need because we're losing those employees with all of that tribal knowledge. So I really feel like I can be an asset to not only that department and turn around our EMS and really work with them so that they, y'all, it's gotta be so hard. Can you imagine the things that they see and they're not being appreciated at work? And the things that they're asking for, it's not more pay. They just want consistent accountability, and they wanna know what the rules are so they know what to do and they know what to do right. And we can give that to them. Those are easy fixes, and I want to make that happen for our EMS. And I'm very, very passionate about that. The second thing that I really want to help is making it easier to do business in Escambia County. We're the washroom location on University Parkway, we were only occupying half the building, and so we decided in the other half of the building we're going to put in a family fun center, and it's called Bogies. So it's high-end golf suites with a full restaurant, and we're so excited, and we get everything drawn up and we get it submitted to planning and zoning and permitting, And that was the week of Thanksgiving. So finally, the week of St. Patrick's Day, over 13 weeks later, we get approval. And that was a lot of carrying costs for a small business. We still had to pay the mortgage. The bank still wanted their money, which rightfully so. You know, we own the building. Well, they own the building. We pay them. My insurance carriers, I still had to pay the insurance on the building. I had all the subcontractors lined up and ready to go. They're working other jobs, and it was a significant delay. And when I take a step back, yes, that affected me, but my question is, how many other small businesses are we losing because it's too difficult to do business in Escambia County? Wow. And it's a lot. And then we talk about bringing bigger businesses in and bringing companies like Amazon, which we lost to a different county, and food distribution centers, which we lost to a different county. They're experiencing the same things that I just described, but on a bigger level. And it's awful. We talk about, you know, having better jobs and better benefits for our community, and we can't do that if it's too difficult to do business in Escambia County. When I purchased one of the laundromats in Pascagoula, I logged into the state website and it said, please put your address here. And I entered my address and it gave me a list of every entity I needed to contact to do business at that address. It was hyperlinked, and if I couldn't get that to work, it had a name of somebody with a phone number. We're behind Pascagoula, Mississippi. Yeah, so that's where we are when it comes to doing business in the county. And I want to make that easier. I want to make it so people who go to UWF and Pensacola Christian College and graduate from PSC, they can put down roots here and they can build businesses. And we want that as a community. The next thing I really want to focus on is better investment for our taxpayer dollars. When we talk about investing in our natural and our historic resources, we can do that, and when it preserves it and makes it so we can all enjoy it. But it'll also allow us to generate tourism throughout the whole year. Our beaches are amazing, our beaches are beautiful, but most people only come in the summertime. What if we could generate tourism where everyone was packed into those 3 months in the summer, and we could spread that out and we could bring people in for different reasons, like the dive community. We have some of the best diving waters in the US, but we don't invest in those, and we could. And there's grants out there that we could partner with and make our money go even further. And when we invest in things like that, it generates more revenue through tax dollars that don't come from you guys. So we're able to put more ambulances on the road, and we're able to hire more sheriffs, and we're able to build fire stations. When part of the reason your homeowner's insurance is so high is if you live more than 5 miles from a fire station, you're almost uninsurable. And our firefighters are operating from their budget at an $8 million deficit right now. And we've got to fix that. So those are the 3 reasons that I'm running. I am very passionate about it. No, I don't have political experience, but I have small business experience, and what we need is somebody that can rally everyone together, and we can move forward together, not as districts and not as a county, but as a community, and that's what I want to do. So thank you. Any questions? I'm sure y'all have questions.
Everybody was given cards to fill out. If anybody has cards or questions, do you want to just pass those to the end and I'll collect those? Oh, if you have a question for Ashlee, just raise your question and then we'll take it.
Okay. Well, the primaries are August 20th, and that is when I need everyone to get out and vote. Do your research on your candidates. Obviously, I would love to win your vote, and I hope the things that I talked about affect you, and I know they affect everyone in the community. So August 20th, again, I am looking for volunteers, so if you want to get out and knock on some doors, or if you want to hold signs and wave, you have a pretty smile and you're just enthusiastic, I would love that help too.
We do have one question.
Okay.
Okay, so would you support a school curriculum, K-4 through 12, where each year, not week, month, or semester, where each student is required to take an American history civics course and require high school students to pass the same test immigrants take to get their diploma?
I think that's great. We don't have, I don't want to mislead anybody. As county commissioners, we don't have influence over what the school board does. It's completely separate. Personally, I believe that our students aren't being taught what they need to be taught in American history, and it's almost as if they're being indoctrinated instead of educated, and we have to stand up and we have to fight against that. So I love that. I don't like the idea of, like when I was in school, we had a FCAD and CTSB. Y'all remember all those? So I don't like the teachers teaching a test. I think you need to make it exciting and you need to make it relevant to the students. So absolutely, that's a great idea.
Awesome. And I think, oh, another question.
You could rephrase that.
I was trying to read it. Is red tape the problem for business development?
A lot of it is, and then some of it's, oh, well, I have a buddy. I didn't have that problem. Well, no, because you have a buddy, but not everybody has a buddy. What about, the rest of us? So a lot of it is red tape, and a lot of it is unnecessary. So what I would like to do is set through those planning meetings and those zoning meetings, and anything that we're not legally obligated to do, let's not have to do it. Like, why are we wasting? When we set through the planning meeting, we go in there, and they had emailed us the questions before. We had emailed our responses. So they read the questions, we read the responses, and this goes back and forth for like 10 minutes after they already had we were just doing it verbally. And then they said, okay, well, I see on your plans you have arrows in the parking lot. Yes. Are those arrows actually going to be there? Yes. Are you coloring the arrows in? Yes. Okay, well, write that down and add it to the list on the email, and then we'll revisit this in 2 weeks. So that was a 2-week delay. And I know that's silly, but seriously? And my husband comes home, he goes, I drew them a picture, and we still couldn't get it done.
Is
Yes.
personnel, not enough personnel to do this research and so forth? Is that part of the
I have been told that they are fully staffed. I don't know if that's accurate. I also know that they have the maximum amount that they can in reserves. So we could spend some money on upgrading things and make it a lot more automated so we can hold people accountable. And that's really what I want to do. I want to automate what we can, set standards for, because you guys work, right? Like, you have standards at work that you have to abide by, and if you don't, there's repercussions for those. So we need to track those. And that's what I'm an advocate for. I'm not saying go in and fire anybody, but everybody needs to be held to the same standards, and you need to be productive. And it needs to be transparent to the community what's expected of them.
2 weeks for coloring in the air.
That's a true story.
That's just,
My husband doesn't think it's funny yet. He's not there.
it's
Funny and
It is.
because I guess you can hear better.
Yes, Sam?
When you're talking about zoning and planning, are you talking about the city or the county?
So this was
Escambia
county.
County.
It was
Yes.
county. Yes, ma'am.
I know that they do have a problem keeping qualified, educated people in zoning and planning because there's a lot of retirees coming up, and they don't have the people applying don't have the education.
Well, and then back to the HR background, how do we invest in them, and how do we give them those skill sets, and how do we retain people? And we should be tracking turnover. Most businesses track turnover.
They should have a stronger recruiter,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And I say this because my daughter does work for the county, so I hear
Yeah. Well, she
lot.
probably has great benefits. We can market that.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
market that.
they do have great benefits. The difference between the city and the county, that's why I was asking, is the city stops working every day at noon. The county works till 4:15. FYI.
Well, that's another benefit, I guess, that they could market, but I'm not sure we want to pay for that either. Wow. I did not know that. That is interesting. But we need to get them the support and the skill sets that they need to. And when I went down there to talk to them about this and permitting, they said, well, just bring your paper copies of everything. I said, you know, this is 2024, right? Like, we can submit this online. But they would prefer the paper copies. So it's, I'm aware. Yeah. I'm aware.
this because I can give feedback.
Yeah, so just some automation would really help. Yeah.
I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know, it was your daughter that had the seizure? How
ma'am.
is she doing now?
She's great. She's the second time we ended up at Sacred Heart, which we did not call the ambulance. We decided, my husband and I decided, we're just going to put her in the car. I'm going to call 911 on the way. I'm going to ask them to alert Sacred Heart as to what's going on. I gave her all of her information. The second doctor was very informative. So she has what's called febrile seizures, which I didn't know was a thing, but when their temperature spikes too high, which hers never even got over 100. That's what's weird. It just spiked too quickly. Their internal thermostat goes haywire. But they said that she would grow out of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for
Just on a
Ashlee?
personal,
Yes, ma'am.
you're gonna be working with other people and you have to get them to vote the way you want them to.
Yes.
How are you at controversy?
I feel like I'm really good at it. I don't enjoy it. at all. But I do know how to create a vision and explain how it benefits everyone in the room and choose a path to move forward together. So for example, Lumen May, I've met with Lumen May and I said, what is important to you? Like, why are you in your position? And he goes, well, I want to create jobs for the underserved communities that they don't have to go to college for. I said, great, I love creating jobs. Let's do that. So if you can find that common ground and move forward together, I think that's really important. The OLF8 project that keeps getting in the news and getting in the news, it's so much about that district, but the housing that's going in there, yes, those people are going to live in that district, but if we do mixed use space, those people are going to come from everywhere to work there, and those tax dollars are going to go back into our community everywhere. So how do we break that out in a way that people understand, okay, this does affect everyone? Tourism, for example, I've been told, well, they're not going to invest in any more tourism because that only affects District 4. I said, it doesn't only affect District 4. 15% of the residents in Escambia County are employed because of tourism. They don't all live in Cordova Park and East Hill. They live throughout the whole community. So we're investing in those jobs. We're not investing in District 4. So I think it's just painting a better picture and finding some common ground. That was a really good question. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Ashlee? No? Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I
And if you
appreciate
could
it.
stay after,
Oh,
we
yeah,
would like
I'm
to
here.
get, we always like to get pictures of the candidate and
I
put it
like
on
to
our
get pictures
Facebook
too.
page. So-
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
who's
and-
next? I've got the.
So we're almost done. You're here.
Yep.
I can take that back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.